Hey, everybody! Happy Thursday and welcome back to the candy shop, my beautiful candy canes. And thank you for everyone who is tuning in live. Be sure to like, subscribe, and put it in the comment box. What do you want us to get started with today? There is so much tea to talk about. Do you want us to talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Do you want RHOA casting news, or do you want to get into the Real Housewives of NYC? So that's right. Drop it in the comment box what you guys want to talk about. So as you guys come in, be sure to like and subscribe and put in the comment box what you guys want to get started with. So thank you so much to everyone coming to the candy shop, my little candy canes. So as you come in, let's say hi to everybody. Hi, Miss Kiki. Yeah, she is giving us some candy and some candy canes. Hey, baby girl. Yes. Hey, beautiful Cardi B. She says, RHOA. Okay, RHOA, yes. Cardi B says, hey, hun. Hi, beautiful. Hi, back right at you. Hey, beautiful Amelia French. Yes, with the red lipstick. She says, RHOA. Yes. Miss Kiki, hey, beautiful Mrs. Kiki. She says RHOA as well. I think it's a consensus. We're going to get started with RHOA, which I'm actually really excited about because last season was really lackluster. But I think now with everything that's going on, there is an opportunity for it to make a comeback if production can get their act together. I think it's really up to production and not even so much the girls because productions are the people who hire the girls. So it's up to production to really make it happen. So let's say hi to everyone who's coming in. Hey, Miss T, she says, hey, all to the candy canes. Yes. Hey, beautiful Lala Chanel. She says, hey, Candy. Hey, beautiful. DT says, hello, Candy, new subscriber to your channel. Just popping by to say hello. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for popping by. I appreciate that. Hey, Pamela Vickers Tuttle. She goes, hey, girl. Hey, yes. Hey, girl. Hey, yes. Hey, Kamiko before you goes, Kamiko. She goes, hey, Candy and the Candy Canes. Absolutely. Yes. Hey, Jade MC Squared. She goes, interesting. Yes, very, very interesting. Hey, Veronica Barnes. She goes, hey, Candy, RHOA. Yes. So the consensus is RHOA. I think that's what we're going to start with. Hey, Selena. She goes, hi, Candy and the Candy Canes. Yes. Hey, everyone. Hey, Sonda Richardson. She goes, good afternoon, everyone. Yes. So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the candy shop, my beautiful candy canes. Like, subscribe, and comment with what you want to talk about and any of your thoughts. But let's dive in because there is a lot of tea. So I want to cite my source, of course, and I got this information from Kempire Daily. So I want to give a shout out to him. He did a really great exclusive recap of the exclusive tea that Love B. Scott dropped, I believe, last night about RHOA casting and production. And they are linked in the show, not the show notes, in the description box. They are linked. I have a link to Kempire Daily's full video, and I also have a link to Love B. Scott's article about it. So I want to give credit, and I also want to cite my sources. So I got all of my information and all of the tea from Kempire Daily and also from Love B. Scott. So just wanted to make sure I gave them credit and to shout them out. Links are in the description box. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so according to this explosive exclusive tea leaked by Love B. Scott and then commented on by Kempire Daily, who I love both of them, Drew Sidora is out. Allegedly, she's not coming back to the show the next season as a full peach holder. Maybe a friend of, maybe not. But the word on the street is that she is filming with Porsha. So rather than go back to the show and stand on her own 2 feet and really show up this time, I guess she's being like a pick-me when it comes to Porsha. And she's choosing to, sorry, you guys, I have like a cowlick going on here. So she's choosing to film Porsha's sideshow, not sideshow, but I guess like spinoff or special, which I think went from 3 episodes to now it's an 8-episode series. I think it's almost like a pilot to see if she can get her own spinoff. But I believe the reason why Drew isn't coming back 100% is because Porsha, according to the article, also is on the fence on whether or not she wants to come back to RHOA. Her rationale is because she's scared that production and the other ladies on the cast will bring on Simon's alleged other side chicks to, you know, either confront or have discussions about or to expose what's really going on with Porsha and Simon, particularly that woman. She was white or light-skinned. I think her name was Jessica. Remember, she came out with all the receipts and she was saying how Simon had cashed apped her, you know, $1,000 here, $3,000 there or whatever, and saying how, hey, Tubi, yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. She goes, hey, CEO of the candy shop and lovely Candy Canes. Yes, thank you so much, Tubi. Mwah, 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 mwah. Love you, sweetheart. So Porsha is basically scared that, and shout out to my girl Tisa Tells. So Tisa Tells does such a deep dive into Porsha and Simon's alleged scammery, fraudery, not anything necessarily illegal, but just like fronting, right? Like renting the private jet when you're pretending like you own it, pretending like you have a $40 million company when actually none of them are legitimate. None of them are actually in business. They're all inactive, or your business licenses have been revoked, or you just don't have as much money as you say you do. So not so much like criminal activity in the scamming, but more just like fronting, like pretending like you have all of this money and you have all of this clout when you really don't. So shout out to Tisa Tells. She does a really great deep dive into all of that. So word on the street is that Porsha is really scared that that's all going to come out on RHOA, because she can't really, I mean, yes, production protects her, but again, with Kenya there and the other girls there, especially Kenya and Marlo, she's not going to be able to hide that stuff. But when it's her own special, when it's her own spinoff, she'll be able to really control the narrative more on what gets out. So that's what's going on. Allegedly, production may or may not want her back, but they're definitely not interested in the whole messiness of Porsha, Simon, Fallon. So that's kind of what's going on with Drew and Porsha. And so also according to this article by Love B. Scott, Marlo is finally getting her peach, which excites me so much. I love Marlo, but even more than a peach, I want her to have her own show of like really just like ladies of leisure who are like really into hypergamy and just their lifestyle, like the shopping and the brunches and the expensive dates and the jet setting and all of that stuff. Like I would love to see that. I'd love to see Marlo have her own show. But until that happens, I'm excited that she's getting the peach. I think it's very well deserved. I'm excited to see more of her life and what she will bring to the show once she is an official peach holder. And apparently the reason why they're able to bring Marlo on with her own peach is because Cynthia seems like she may not be returning as an official peach holder. Apparently her salary is really, really high. And so they're able to bring on Marlo and Sheree as peach holders, because Sheree is going to come in with like a first timer or like a season 1 type salary, which it isn't that much comparative to other ladies who have been there for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So they're able to bring on Marlo and Sheree as peach holders, basically because they're getting rid of Cynthia's salary. So Cynthia's salary covers, you know, at least what Marlo will be making and what Sheree will be making. And I think that's fair, because I don't think that what Cynthia brings to the show would be worth that much money. I like Cynthia, but I think that her story has run its course. I think her time has run its course. And I'd rather her leave on a high note, just got married, a beautiful new family. You know, Noelle is now doing her own thing. So like leave on a high note, you know, leave when you can kind of, don't get kicked out, you know, leave on good terms. Speaking of leaving on good terms, the article also confirms what I thought. Nene will not be back in any capacity on the show, because there was some rumors floating around, like last week, I think it was, when they were saying, oh, like Nene might be back. Now she's saying all these great things about Bravo. Now she's saying all these great things about Andy. But I was just like, I think she crossed too many lines publicly for NBC Universal, which is the parent company of Bravo, to bring her back on without looking like complete fools. Like, she called Andy a racist. She said that he was doing nose candy. She called executives at NBC racist. She called her team at the time, who subsequently ended up dropping her. She called them racist and saying that they were in on it and basically took payoffs not to say anything. So she did and said a lot. Oh, and again, you guys, I also want to make sure that I say this is all alleged, my opinion, for entertainment purposes only. Okay. So yeah, so I think that she did too much publicly and not through the right venues. Like, I don't think you take that particular fight to Twitter. You know what I mean? So I think that she did too much too publicly for NBC to bring her back without having egg on their face. It would just be really a crazy look. So yeah, so according to Love B. Scott, Nene is not coming back. So Kandi is confirmed to come back along with Kenya. So right now, what the cast is looking like is Kandi, Kenya, Marlo, Sheree, and then who is the fourth person? I got to look up the fourth person because I want to read you an excerpt from the article as well. But Phaedra is not coming back, right? Because remember, she tweeted those like homophobic tweets regarding, I think it was Lil Nas X's appearance on Saturday Night Live. So I think after that kind of killed any of her chances of coming back. And honestly, I'm okay with that. Like, I like Phaedra. I think she can read and all of those things. But just after the whole Kandi thing, it just left too much of a bitter taste in my mouth when it came to Phaedra. Like, I think that Porsha was a very much willing participant in all of that, and she kind of just pretended like it was all Phaedra. But if somebody tells you something that is a crime, like in general, but in particular against you, like, you need to do your due diligence to make sure that's correct before you accuse someone of those things on national television. So I think Porsha was a very much a willing participant in all of that. Okay, so let's see what else is going on. Okay, so this is the segment of the article that I wanted to read to you guys, because shout out to Kempire Daily. Love him. He interpreted this excerpt a little differently than I interpreted it. So I want to see what you guys think, what you guys thought about this. Okay, so I'm going to read you the excerpt, and then I'll tell you the way Kempire interpreted it, and then I'll tell you how I interpret it, and we can talk about it. And shout out to Kempire. Again, the link to his full video is in the description, so I want to give him credit and to shout him out. Okay, so this is the excerpt from Love B. Scott's article, which is also linked in the description box. Okay, it says, we're told that for season 14, production wants a total of 7 housewives. Kandi, Kenya, Porsha, Sheree, and Marlo would make 5 if they all sign on. Production is aggressively interviewing new prospects in hopes of filling all 7 slots. They're specifically looking for ladies with husbands and or significant others. See, Bravo is listening to us. I'm telling you, they're watching. Ideally, production would have about 5 new housewives if they had their way. But apparently, there are slim pickings down there in Atlanta. If you've wondered why certain ladies seem to last longer than they should, it's because they're difficult to replace. Okay, so Kempire interpreted that as saying that production wanted 10 new housewives in totals if they could. So he interpreted it as the 5, Kandi, Kenya, Porsha, Sheree, and Marlo as the 5. And then that production wanted 5 new housewives if they had their way. So he interpreted it as it being 10 new housewives. But I interpret it differently. I think that production wants, like he said, we're told that for season 14, production wants a total of 7. I think production wants 7 housewives, a la Beverly Hills, a la Potomac, where it's like that 6, 7 friend of may or may not make an 8 is really that sweet spot. But I think that what happened is that Love B. Scott was throwing in some very subtle shade of what the production was trying to say. So when he says, ideally production would have about 5 new housewives if they had their way. But apparently there are slim pickings down there in Atlanta. So I read that to mean, this to me was very subtle shade. Basically what they were saying is that so the production wants a total of 7, right? They have 5 now, but they would actually want 5 new prospects. So of the 5 that they have, they're actually only messing with 2 of them. And if they had their way, they would fire 3 of the 5 that they had. But they can't, because there are slim pickings down there in Atlanta. And then that's why they end saying, if you've wondered why certain ladies seem to last longer than they should, it's because they're difficult to replace. So basically this is how I read it. Basically, they're saying, yeah, now we have 5 confirmed. We want 7. But if we had our way, we would actually only have 2 confirmed. We'd fire 3 other ones, and then we'd find 5 new people to complete this 7. But since there's so many slim pickings, that's why there are more housewives that last longer than there should, because they're difficult to replace. Not that they were looking for a total of 10 new housewives, right? Does that make sense to you guys? So let me know if you think that's what they were trying to say. I think it was a very slick, subtle way to throw shade at 3 of the ladies who are most likely to stay. Basically, production was saying, we don't really want to keep all of these 5 women. We actually only really want to mess with 2 of these 5. But since we can't find anybody to replace them, this is where we're at. So I thought that they were shading 3 of the 5 ladies. And I think the ladies that they were shading were Sheree, Marlo, and Porsha. I think if production had their way, they would keep Kandi and Kenya. And I say that because Kenya understands the assignment. She's going to show up. She's going to be the villain. She understands the assignment. She clocks in. She does her job, and she clocks out. And then Kandi, I think just because they have, not so much because Kandi has the strongest storylines right now, or she's not bringing so much drama, but just because I think Kandi with production is probably very easy to work with. She knows everyone. She has really great ties at Bravo. She has a really great business ethic. And I think she's probably just an easy person to work with. But I think that the fact that they're finally giving Marlo a peach after how many years? They were always reluctant. Andy always kind of hinted that she would never get a peach. So I don't think they really want to give Marlo a peach, but I think that they're very desperate. Sheree, they're bringing her on with literally what a first timer would make. I mean, we know that last season, Toya, well, I guess Toya wasn't an actual peach holder, but they were only paying Toya $1,000 a season, or I'm not sorry, an episode. I'm sure Sheree's making more than $1,000, at least I hope. But they're bringing her on with and to me that's kind of messed up, because Sheree to me seems like, even though she's come, she's gone, she's come, she's gone, but she should be treated better than a first timer. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like we need to give a little bit more respect to Sheree if you're going to bring her back than giving her what a season 1 person would make. So to me, they feel Sheree is kind of disposable. And then I don't think they necessarily actually really want Porsha back. I think pre-Simon Fallon, Porsha was the princess. I think she was the princess. I think production loved her. I think that she got away with a lot of things. She got a lot of passes. She was able to control a lot of narratives. But I think that the whole Simon Fallon thing kind of blew up in her face, and it kind of went in the direction she wasn't expecting. I think Porsha thought that she could get away with everything, right? I think that she thought that she could do anything because she was the darling, but that really kind of blew up in her face in a way that she wasn't expecting. And I think she's kind of having, I think she's realizing that Simon may not be the person that she thought he was. I think she's realizing that her reputation has been damaged by this. I think she's realizing that she may have made a mistake with this whole move and being as brazen as she was about it. And I say that because if production was really, for RHOA at least, was really messing with Porsha like that, then they would be like, well, you come back and we'll make sure that, there's no other women that Simon had been with. Come on, we're not going to do X, Y, and Z. We will protect you, blah, 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 blah. We really want you to come back. We really want you to come back. We really want you to come back, right? So I think it could be that. So that's kind of what I think. But let me know what you guys think. All right, I'm going to go up here and see what you guys are saying, my beautiful candy canes. Okay, let's see here. Hi, Sumaya Singh, she goes, Simon is a poser. Exactly. Simon is a poser. That's exactly what it is. I'm not saying he's like criminal or anything, but he's definitely fronting. And I think Porsha might have drank that Kool-Aid, and I think she thought she was getting something that she's not. Hey, Darren Wood. He says, hey to the Candy Canes. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, D. He was Bravo didn't have to air the information about Candy D'ing Porsha. Why didn't Candy blame Bravo? Well, the reason why Candy didn't blame Bravo, I'm thinking, is because what people say while they're filming is fair game. And it's not up to Bravo to, oh, hey, Sinitra. It's not up to Bravo to, what do you call it? It's not up to Bravo to edit out things like that. Like if someone brings that to the table and it's so salacious and it's so much and it's so dramatic in that way, then it's not really Bravo's fault. Do you know what I mean? Like Bravo didn't make up that storyline. Phaedra did. And then Porsha was the mouthpiece. So Bravo can't air something that someone does not say. So it's not Bravo's fault. Like if we think about reality TV the way it should be, they're actually impartial people, right? At least they're supposed to be impartial. They're supposed to be filming someone's real life, condensing it to, 40-minute episode, 8-episode season, 12 or whatever. So it's not Bravo's fault for airing it. It's Phaedra's fault for making it up, and it's Porsha's fault for actually saying it. And they sign those waivers, when things come up, they have to do it. So it wasn't Bravo's fault. Bravo can't air something that you don't say. So that's kind of what I think about it. Hey, Sunitra, thank you so much for the super chat. She was absolutely correct about Porsha. Love the show, Candy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Oh, Marquita Olivier says, why do you think he is a poser? I just don't know. Okay, so the reason why I think Simon is a poser, Minerva, Mies Curry, if I pronounced that correctly. Thank you so much for the super sticker, sweetheart. Thank you so, so much. Okay, so Marquita, the reason why I think Simon is a poser is because, and again, shout out to Tisa Tells, because I got this information from her. She does a really big deep dive. When we're done, I'll go back into the description and I'll add her in so you guys can go to her channel too, because I always want to cite and credit my sources. So shout out to Tisa Tells for this. But she does a deep, the girl has the time to research, and she does a very thorough, deep, good job at this stuff. And what she found was that all of Simon's alleged businesses, they're all in just his name. Meaning he's the CEO, he's the secretary, he's the vice president, he's the COO, he's the CFO, he's the intern, he's the marketer, he's the publicist, he's the copywriter. And to me, that signals someone who is not overseeing a 40 million or a multi-million-dollar company. Because when you have legitimate businesses, the president or the CFO has a board and you have a team. You have a vice president, you have a president, you have the CFO, you have the CEO, you have a secretary, you have assistants, you have all of these things. You have viable and tangible businesses. What does Simon actually do? They're all these kind of very vague things. At one point he was supposed to be some oil guy, but $40 million is really not that much to be in the oil trade. Oil is extremely, extremely lucrative. Then he went to being some form of public figure. Then he went to being some type of filmmaker, producer. Then he went to saying he owned some clubs or some restaurants, but which clubs, which restaurants. The private jet that he was always taking photos on, apparently that was just a rental. He didn't really own it, which if you can come up with some cash, we could all pool our money together and rent a private jet for a day or two. So he's pretending to have this lifestyle. Also, there was that rumor saying that he was allegedly from Nigerian royalty, or he was from Nigeria, a really wealthy Nigerian family Tisa tells debunked that as well. He's not from a wealthy Nigerian family, so he didn't come from money. And what it turned out was that he actually has a pattern of marrying women and using them for a come up, whether that come up is clout, whether that come up is status, or whether that come up is money. So apparently his first wife, she was the one who actually had the money. And she was the one who had a good reputation in Atlanta. And she supported him while he worked, I believe Tisa said, at KFC. And he was also getting his CPA, I think his CPA degree or something like that, some type of like accounting or something like that, whatever a CPA is. Okay. It's his CPA degree. And she supported him while he did that. And then it was her connections and her money that got the seed money up for whatever subsequential restaurant or club or whatever he opened. I don't know if it's still open. I don't know what the deal is, but it wasn't his money. It was hers. It was her relationships in Atlanta, and it was her money, and it was her ability to raise that money. He had 2 children with her, and then he cheated on her with his second wife. So while he was still married to his first wife, who he had 2 children with, and who was supporting him financially, he cheated on her with his second wife, got that second wife pregnant. Does this sound familiar? Right? Got the second wife pregnant, divorced the first wife, married the second wife, had 2 children with the second wife. The second wife, I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember, but she helped him out in some way too. I'm not sure if it was financial or connections, but somehow he was still marrying up, right? And then when he had the second wife, he cheated on her with this, I believe, a Colombian woman, and had his 5th child with her, but they never got married. And then during that time, he ended up meeting Fallon. And Fallon, actually, she has her own money separately. And then Fallon also, she has that look. You know, she has that trophy wife. She was like how many decades younger than him. She got him into a lot of rooms. She gave him a different type of look. You know, it's almost like if you walk into a room and you're like, hi, I'm this like Nigerian man with all of this oil money, and here's my trophy wife. And Fallon really fits that mold. And Fallon also had her own money as well, which she has said and he has said. So then he married Fallon. And then during that time, Fallon came out saying how much he was pressuring her to get on the show, get on the show, get on the show. And so then he bought that house that they filmed in. They did not live in that house prior to filming. He bought it a couple of months before filming started just to film in. And then the moment filmed wrapped, he put the house back on the market, which really just means you couldn't actually afford the house, because that's not a quick enough turnaround to make a profit. It's not like he's trying to flip the house. He's not doing some like real estate mogul move. He's not trying to flip the house and to make a profit. What it means is that you bought the house to film in, and now that filming is over, you can no longer afford the house, and now you're trying to sell it. Which is why, remember when they were talking about earlier, he only gave Fallon like 28 days or 38 days to vacate. I don't think he was doing that to be spiteful. I think he was doing that because he probably had to vacate the house in order to like put it on the market and to sell it, and for the potential buyers to come in. So I think it was like a money thing. And then if you also think about it, it came out in the divorce and they're not even legally divorced yet still. They're still legally married. I think sometimes we forget that. Fallon and Simon are still legally married. So at any point, they could be like, psych, and get back together and run off into the sunset. So your girl, Porsha, is still engaged to a legally married man. But if you remember back when they said about the divorce, he was going to pay her $50K in 2 installments. Okay, if you have $40 million, or if you are balling the way you say you're balling, why wouldn't you give her that little $100K in 1 installment, or more than that? And well, maybe you don't want to because you're being spiteful if you're getting divorced. But if you have to pay someone in installments, it means you don't have the full amount to pay up front. So that's another big red flag about everything that's been going on. But Tisa tells, go to her channel. She does such a deep dive into all of it. And so if you watch her stuff, she has receipts, she has screenshots, she has all the stuff. So that was just my little recap of why I think that Simon is a scammer and a con artist. Again, I don't think he's doing anything criminally illegal. I think it's more just this front that he's putting up. this like false front. And I think Porsha drank the Kool-Aid and she thought she was going to get this man. Oh, that's right. Another thing that Tisa said, he was saying how like, oh, when he turns because allegedly he's like, what? I don't even know. He's somewhere between 58 and 68. You got to go watch your videos. But allegedly he was saying, oh, in 1 to 2 years, he was going to get some alleged inheritance of like all this like bulk money, which I just don't believe. I'm like, you're a man who's like in your 50s and 60s waiting on an inheritance. That's more like somebody who's in like their 20s will wait for like an inheritance, right? So that doesn't make sense. But I think that Porsha drank the Kool-Aid and she thought that she was bagging this big time multimillionaire with this big house and, you know, the private jets and the private planes and all these businesses. But then when she got there, it turned out like the emperor had no clothes. This wasn't his house. He doesn't own it. He's trying to sell it because he can no longer afford it. This private jet that he said was his own, he's actually just renting it. All of the business that he said, the licenses have been revoked. They're not real. They're not actually operating. So I don't really know how Simon is saying he's making his money when none of his businesses are actually in operation and they're all under his own name. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's for like small potatoes people. You know, that's for just like a sole proprietor. Like, that would be me. I would be like, I am the CEO. I am the CFO. I am the intern. I am the fax person. I am the writer. I am the producer. Like, you know what I mean? It's for like little small independent people. It's not for someone who's saying that they're running multi-million-dollar enterprises, right? So that's why I think Simon is a poser. But go to Tisa Tells. She does such a deep dive and she will give you all of the skinny and all of the scoop. Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat box. Sumaya Singh says, at D, I think Marlo always wanted a peach but wanted to seem unbothered. Yeah, that could be very true. That's in alignment with Marlo as well, with like her personality. Hey, Sasha T. She goes, Porsha was able to successfully rebrand herself from ditzy to activist with BLM and hashtag protect Black women. But what she did to Fallon compromised all of that. She lost all credibility with Black women. You know, I agree with you 100%. 100%. And you know what it also did? It led credibility to Kenya's claims that Porsha was only doing Black Lives Matter and protect Black women as some sort of like front and as some sort of storyline. So you'd be like, oh, I'm doing my grandfather's legacy and like I really care about the people and I care about the community. But it's like she didn't wish Breonna Taylor a happy birthday, but yet she was out wishing Simon a happy birthday, and then she was trying to tear down Fallon, which to me always made no sense. Like, and I don't want to say you took someone's husband because, you know, you can't take a man, but just colloquially, she took someone's husband, right? And then you're trying to villainize her. Like, what did Fallon ever do to you? Like, why are you so bothered by Fallon? Like, why are you saying she's a nobody? Nobody know who she is. You were never friends with her. She's this, that, and the third. She was a cheater and all these things. And all of those rumors actually turned out to be pretty false. Like, I don't think there was no ever concrete proof or receipts that Fallon was ever unfaithful. So that to me, I never really understood. It's almost like I would be so embarrassed if, let's give the 1,000% benefit of the doubt. 1,000%. I don't actually believe this, but for shits and giggles, let's say Porsha and Simon really did fall madly in love with each other, right? I would be so embarrassed to publicly talk about it. I would be so humble to that woman because it's just a really shitty thing. This person that you've been hanging out with, this person that you've been getting to know, you fall in love with their husband. You're engaged to them after allegedly dating for only 30 months. They're blindsided by the whole thing and they're still legally married. I would be so embarrassed. So embarrassed. The last thing I would do would speak ill of that woman, privately or publicly. So it's so bizarre to me. Hey, D, she goes, Bravo edits out things all the time. They choose what they want to air. If they thought it would ruin Candy's brand, they should be considerate of it. Right. I mean, but this is the thing, though. Bravo also says that they don't protect the talent. So if something comes out, it comes out. And also maybe they wanted to give Candy a chance to defend herself. And I think that Candy has a great relationship with Bravo, but that doesn't mean that Bravo is going to cut out certain things just to protect people if it's a good storyline, right? Like it's not Bravo's job to protect Candy's brand. Like they in their contracts, they literally sign a contract that says Bravo is allowed to show you in any light. Like they don't get to decide that. You know, Kandi is a boss. She has a great relationship with them, but at the end of the day, on that show, she is still the talent. And again, Bravo can't air something that someone doesn't say. Hey, Natalia. She goes, hi, Kandi. Kandi had every right to blame Porsha. Allegedly, Drew, LaToya, and Cynthia are fired. Yes, that's what we've been talking about. Cynthia out and Drew out. Yes. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Some of the comments went really fast up. So if I didn't get to you, I apologize. But I'm going to try to get to everyone just so everyone feels seen and heard. Hey, Lafina. She goes, no one will forget the Underground Railroad no matter what Porsha does. Laughing my ass off. Exactly. I mean, who's going to conduct the Underground Railroad? You know, who has the snacks? Is it going to be nap time? So true. And it's so bad because I really did kind of like Porsha, except for the Kandi stuff. But when the Fallon thing came out, it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. I just could not get into it. Hey, Miss Gemini Talk. She goes, right, exactly. Yes. That's what you guys are saying. Miss T. Hey, Miss T. She goes, I'm glad that Bravo solved Porsha's fake love story. Me too. And it just wasn't a good look. It's just, any way you slice it, it was just not a good look at all. Hey, Darren Hood. She goes, Yandy did a much better job compared to what Porsha did for RHOA season 13 on the front lines. Yeah, I kind of feel like Yandy, when it comes to the frontline Black Lives Matter stuff, she just seemed a little bit more genuine, a little bit more authentic with it, right? Maybe it's because of what Mendices went through and everything like that. So maybe she has that lived experience of what it feels like to have, you know, someone incarcerated or the threat of that. But yeah, Yandy did seem much more genuine than Porsha did. Hey, Miss T, Porsha's timeline doesn't make any sense. It never has. That's right. Again, go to Tisa Tells because she exposes the whole timeline. And according to her receipts, Simon and Porsha have been messing around since last year, like a long time, for a while. And I believe it, especially if you go back and you really watch that pool scene, especially when it's Porsha, Lauren, and Tanya in the car. You could tell that they were almost like, yo, if this girl jumps off, we're going to jump her vibe. It just, I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. But if you go back and watch, you'll see. Hey, Miss Gemini Talk. She goes, exactly. Yes. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Okay, Don Hall says, hey, everyone. Yes. Let's see now. Yanni Rose says they protected Porsha last year at Todd's party. Very, very true. Sasha T wants to get into Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yes, we can transition very shortly. I just want to see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Hey, Joanne. Joanne says, I used to love Porsha and she let me down. Same. Fallon kept quiet for so long. She had to know as long as it was going on, according to Tisa Tales. Love you. Aw, thank you so much. I love you too, Joanne. And I agree 100%. You know, maybe Fallon didn't know at the time, but she definitely knows now how long it's been going on. And she handled that with class and grit. And I'm Team Fallon. I really like her. I think she's great, and I want her to do so well in this life. Hey, Jody149, she goes, so true. Lost all respect for Porsha. What she did wiped out the movement, the BML movement. It did. Her doing this really, to me, negated all of the good stuff and all of the good work that she did to change her reputation. Like, it was just too much. Hey, Young Rich, she goes, hashtag bring back Drew, hashtag we will miss you, Ralph. See, I was never that attracted to Ralph. And you know what? I'm okay with Drew not coming back. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really think so. Hey, Amelia French. She goes, not who has the snacks. Because it was like the kitty. It was like the kitty corner on the Underground Railroad. It was the kitty one. I love you guys. I love my candy canes. Hey, Anisha Smith. She goes, Candy doesn't like Porsha because Todd does. Ooh, okay. There was a scene a few years back when the men were asked who would the be with if they could, and he said Porsha. See? Okay, maybe he said Porsha, but I don't think that's not why Candy doesn't like Porsha. I think Candy doesn't like Porsha because of the whole her saying that her and Todd was going to give her drugs and take her back down to the alleged dungeon and do stuff with it. I really think that's it. Like, Candy and Todd seem to be pretty open. Candy even talked about Porsha. Remember when Candy came out and said that Porsha had made out with her, that she was like tonguing her down? They were at some apparently Porsha was really, really drunk. Candy doesn't drink, so she was sober. Todd was probably drunk because he drinks. Todd was grinding up behind Candy. Porsha was in front of Candy dancing. Candy said that Porsha was kissing her down. And remember, she said that Porsha said to her, I want to, how do I say this without getting like censored? She said that I wanted to lick your lady part until you finish. Let's see. She used the other word that started with the C. Do you guys remember that? It was during that whole time. And remember, they went to it was when Porsha was dating what was his name? Oh my God, what was his name? He was the guy who worked in DC, but he quit his job to be with her and be on the show, and then it didn't work out. He was the guy that she was trying to get the baby nump with. And he was like, oh, this is extortion. And they all went on that trip to Jamaica with Peter. It was during that time. And then Candy had those long braids, and she brought out the screenshots of the text messages. She was like, I want you to see what she said. She's a freak. She's a liar, blah, 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 blah. I think that's why Candy doesn't like Porsha. I don't think Candy really cares if Todd thinks she's hot or not. But that is a good point. And thank you for bringing up that memory. Hey, B. Hey, beautiful B. She goes, sorry I'm late, but if Drew is out, thank you to all that's good. I agree, B. I agree. I was never, ever here. I was never, ever here for it. At Sasha, hey, Sime Singh. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. She was at Sasha T. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is crazy right now. It really is. It really is. Okay, we'll switch to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Okay, D says Porsha thought Fallon cheated on Simon. That still doesn't excuse anything. She was heard about Dennis cheating on her. Still doesn't excuse anything. What better revenge than to marry Dennis's good friend and get back at a cheater? This is... Okay. Even if Fallon cheated on Simon, which I don't think she does because there was never any proof of it, what does that have to do with Porsha? Nothing. She's still engaged to a married man. What happened between Fallon and Simon has nothing to do with Porsha in that sense, right? Like, if you flipped it and say Fallon was with Dennis and Fallon was like, well, Porsha was cheating on Dennis, so it was fine for me to be with him, everybody would have lost their minds. But somehow Porsha and Simon want to put out this fake news that Fallon was cheated as if that would in any way absolve her actions. And if Porsha was right, oh, they were never friends, then like it really makes no sense. Like, I don't think that plays into it. I think that's just like a red herring to like make people I don't even know. You said she was heard about Dennis cheating on her. Yeah, she could have been heard on Dennis cheating on her, but that doesn't mean you go and have an affair with a married man. If you're hurt by someone cheating on you, why in the world would you then become the other woman in somebody else's relationship? You should know what that woman would feel and what that woman would be going through. So if I was someone and someone was cheating on me, the last thing I would do would want to become the other woman in somebody else's marriage. And to be fair, Porsha and Simon were never married. Not that it makes it any better or worse, but they were never married. Simon and Fallon were married, legally married. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that, but okay, you guys, we are going to switch over to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Are you guys ready for it? Are you ready for it? I'm so sorry if I didn't get to your comments, but I think, okay, Cardi B. Oh, wait. Amelia says, Porsha was all up in Fallon's house. Exactly. That right there means her husband, even if they are divorcing, is off limits. I agree with that 100%. Cardi B says, I think we give too much smoke to the single woman and not the married man. No. I agree with that 100%. I think Simon is actually the biggest slime ball and the biggest culprit in the entire thing, right? But I'm just talking about Porsha in context of RHOA casting and what her position is. And then also, why would she participate in trying to bring down Fallon when she was the one sleeping with her actual husband? But I agree with you, Cardi B, 1,000%. The most culpable person is Simon. The dirtiest person is Simon. And I agree with you. Society does put women down and hold women to a totally different standard than they hold men. So yes, I agree with that 1,000%. All right, so now we're gonna move over to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. All right, so the black is hot in Bev Hills. The black is hot. Let's jump into Erika because that's the biggest storyline, right? And then we'll talk about everybody else. Erika, to me, for a nano, and I mean a very nanosecond, almost caught me with the okie doke. Almost caught me with the okie doke. I almost for a second was just like, is she telling the truth? And then my mind came back to me and I was like, oh, hell no. This chick is lying all through her teeth and all through her staged black mascara. She was lying through her damn teeth. And I'm going to tell you why I know. When she went to go meet up with Kyle, right? And she came and she was all upset and flustered and she didn't think she would talk about this day. Everything she said to me sounded like, oh, hey, Lala Chanel, I agree. Erika does know she's lying. Oh, wait. Sorry, the thing moves so fast. Yeah, Erika does know she's lying. Okay, so this is the thing. Everything she said to me sounded like a script. Like, these are your key points. These are your key messages that you need to get across, right? She was just like, oh, he can't see. And I would tell him that he couldn't see because he can't see very well. Oh, he can't hear because he can't hear very well. And I'm just like, oh, you're just degrading right in front of me. I can't do an Erika voice. That's my voice. Sorry, guys. If I could do an Erika voice, I would. You're degrading. I can't do it. Anyway, that feeds directly into this, in my opinion, alleged fake thing saying that Tom has dementia or that he has Alzheimer's or some type of like mental depreciation because of his age, which I think is 100% bullshit. I think he is as sharp as a tack as he's ever been. Just because you're older does not mean you don't have your wits about you. So I think that is a complete lie that they made up to try to get him out of his legal problems. And the fact that Erika showed up talking about this divorce isn't a scam. This divorce isn't a sham during the time when it came out that everyone was saying the divorce is fake, the divorce is a sham. She was facing, because that's a big thing. If they can prove that the divorce was a fraud, that is very huge. I think that's even like criminal. With all like the cases that are going on, if they put on this fake divorce for her to hide assets and for her to hide money and everything, that is a really, really big deal. And they can both get into even more trouble than what they're into. So the fact that she showed up to Kyle and literally to me had like a checklist of everything she needed to check off and say, like, I know you're listening, feds. I know you're listening, IRS. I know you're listening, lawyers and judges. Let me just tick everything off. Oh, it's not a sham marriage. Check. Oh, he can't see. Check. Oh, he can't hear. Check. Oh, he's degrading right in front of me. Check. 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 Girl, bye. there was nothing in what she said that was rooted in true, raw humanity. Because I just don't think that her response is in alignment with how a woman would actually be feeling and thinking about if she had no idea that the man that she was married to for 20 plus years was allegedly defrauding victims and widows and burn victims and all of this stuff, and was actually suffering from a mind debilitating disease. It just doesn't track. To me, it sounded like her and Tom and whoever else he's in cahoots with said, these are the things we need you to say on the show to try and help us cover up, to try and substantiate the lies that we're saying to get out of this. It was just way too bullet pointed, and it was way too calculated. And she never veered from the script that she was saying. Like, I don't know about you, but like if I'm in a really emotional state, I kind of go all over the place, and like I bring things up that may not even make sense, and I'm just really in the moment, and I'm just really emotional. And then also her fake like black tears coming down. When has her makeup ever not been on point and flawless? I'm confused. To me, I think that was like prop mascara that they use for like crying scenes in movies and TV shows. Like, I didn't believe any of it. I thought it was all lies. I think she was crying for herself, and she was crying for Tom. She was crying that the jig was up. She was crying that she might go to jail. She was crying that she might have to give all this money up. She was crying that they got caught. I do not believe she was crying for her marriage. I do not believe she was crying for the victims, because she hasn't even said a thing about the victims. Not a thing. Not I feel so bad, not I'm so sorry, not I can't believe he would do this to them. The only thing Erika has talked about has been Erika. She can't believe she might have to start over. Not she can't believe that there has been people with 90% of their bodies burnt up and their husband has been spending their money on her hair and makeup. Erika's only concern has been Erika. I think she was lying through her teeth. And I think she had a script. And another reason why, because you know I love a good conspiracy, because you know I remember stuff. Another reason why I know she's lying. And by no, I mean alleged my opinion. Don't come after me, anybody. I'm not saying any of this is fact. This is for entertainment, alleged my opinion. But another reason why it is my opinion that she's lying through her teeth is because remember when the divorce first broke and she submitted those text messages from like the 90s, like BlackBerry Android or whatever it was, saying like, my cheating husband, he's been cheating on me, blah, 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 blah. But it was really like super old text messages from all the way back in the day from this woman that he knew like 10, 20 years ago. It wasn't even like in this last decade. It was so fake and phony, and everyone was just like, girl, why are you now? So you're divorcing him now over an affair that happened like 10, 15 years ago? These receipts from like 1996 or something crazy, right? So if he really is suffering from dementia, if he really is not in his right mind, and him being cold and dismissive to you, if that was the true reason why you guys were getting divorced, then why did you do this whole fake out cheating scandal with the text from the BlackBerry from 1996? It doesn't track. Basically, this is what happened. You tried to put out those texts from 1996 and nobody bought it. Nobody believed it. So you had to abandon that fake storyline. And now you're coming over here trying to pretend like it's because he has dementia. If he, like, think about it. Just like, think about it. If you're a person and your husband or wife truly has dementia, truly is degrading in front of you, even if you are going through a divorce, are you going to put out text messages from 1996 talking about this cheating person? Or are you going to be like, my husband isn't well, and this is why we're breaking up? So you switched your stories, Erika, because you did a Porsha. You thought you could put out a fake storyline, and you thought that people would fall for the okie doke. And when they didn't fall for the okie doke, now you're trying to flip it. But we're on to you. It doesn't make sense. if he really is degrading and decapitated, not decapitated, but you know what I mean, all of the like decaying or whatever you said that he was, then how come you did this whole fake 1996 text message shenanigans that nobody fell for? So now you're trying to go and do these crocodile tears. So you're caught, Erika. You're caught because it just doesn't make sense. But I don't like, okay, now I'm switching a little bit to Rinna, right? But it has to be with Erika. Has to deal with Erika. Rinna is the actual sniper from the side, and she truly is a snake. Did you guys catch, let me know if you guys caught this, right? Did you guys catch when Rinna and Erika were talking? And Erika was like, oh yeah, they were saying like the divorce was a sham or something. It was a way for me to either like to hide money or things like that. And then Rinna was just like, oh, well, how would you hide money? In the moment, you don't see the significance of that question and why it was so dirty for Rinna to ask it. Because if Erika was not on her game, she might have slipped up and been like, oh, well, this is how you would do it. And then boom, we would all know, or at least the feds who are all watching and the judges and the lawyers would be like, oh, boom, she's admitting it. She's telling us what her plan is, and they would know what her plan is. But Erika was on her game and she was like, oh, I mean, I don't know. But Rinna, if you're Erika's friend, why are you asking her that on TV? Because if you're actually having a conversation and you are not really strict about what your script is, and somebody just asks you a question in the flow of a conversation, you might just unconsciously tell on yourself. I think Rinna knew exactly what she was doing because I think Rinna has allegiances. No, let me rephrase that. I think Rinna has alliances, but she doesn't actually have any allegiances. And what I mean by that is that she will be your ally and will have an alliance with you as long as it benefits her. But she doesn't actually have an allegiance to you. And to me, allegiance is when you actually have genuine loyalty, a true bond, a true friendship, a true ride or die is like allegiance. But alliance is when you are allies with someone because it's mutually beneficial for you both. I'm going to scratch your back. You're going to scratch mine. We're allies, right? So I think that Rinna has alliances, but she doesn't have allegiances to anyone. And that's exactly what she said to Garcelle. Remember episode 1 when Garcelle was just like, what you did to Denise was so wrong. And Rinna basically was just like, well, Denise, she was like, well, Denise just like doesn't get it. And then Garcelle was just like, well, if I tell you something in privacy and confidence that's really serious, I can't trust you not to tell. And Rinna was just like, no, you can't. Like, yeah, I'm going to tell it. Like, what are you talking about? Of course I'm going to tell it. Because the only person Rinna cares about is Rinna. She will be your ally, but she doesn't have a true allegiance to you. So the moment that allyship no longer serves her, she will throw you under the bus in a moment. Because the fact that Rinna asked her that could have really messed Erika up. She was like, well, how would you? I forgot exactly the way she phrased it, but she was like, well, how would you hide the money? How would you do it? How would you do it? Imagine if Erika wasn't on her game, if she didn't have that script already pre-planned in her head. Because if I'm just chatting with my friend and they're like, hey girl, how would you make this iced coffee? I would be like, oh, I would just put in 2 scoops, 3 scoops, scoop it up, da-da-da. You know what I mean? So that to me was very dirty on Rinna's part. Because Erika could have really slipped up and really messed stuff up. Okay, so when it comes to Crystal versus Sutton, oh, wait, hold on. So Sharon Turner says, wait till we hear the mess about Bill Gates and Melinda Gates' divorce. That's another divorce that's going to just be fake, just moving money allegedly, LOL, right? Yes. I'm going to see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Sharon Turner says, Rinna is a trip. She really, really is. She really, really is. I'm going to see what you guys are saying. Hi to Quilla, her referred to goes, Erika is always on her game. Exactly. She has that script and she is not diverging from it. I don't believe for a second that the divorce is real. I think they did it very strategically. I don't think for a second that Tom has dementia. I think he's as sharp and as clear as he's ever been. Just because you're older doesn't mean you don't have your wits about you. And I think that they're being very, very, very strategic. And I don't believe a word that comes out of Erika's mouth. I just really don't. Because remember when she said, sorry, I'm cracking myself up before I even say it to you guys. Remember when she said, she goes, I tried to hug him and he didn't hug me back. I was just like, what script writing student at UCLA wrote this for you? Literally in her confessionals, she's giving us monologues. It's like she's saying the things that she thinks someone in the position that she's pretending to be in would say. And to me, it just sounds like monologues and it sounds like one-liners. It doesn't sound like it's coming from anywhere authentic or genuine. It just doesn't. I think the only thing that Erika is crying about is her own bank account and her own lifestyle. I really think that's it. I don't think she gives a damn about anybody else. I really, really don't. Let's see what you guys are saying. Miss T said Erika even said she wanted someone to go check on time. Exactly. Hey, Regina Bradford, Candy, the question was very calculated. Exactly. It was very calculated. It was extremely calculated. Because if I'm someone's real friend, I'm not going to ask them that on camera. At all. It was insane. Hey, Joanne. She goes, she was well rehearsed. Even with Lisa, she knew that question was coming and she had the answer of, I have no idea. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, I agree 100%. Ooh. Hey, Regina, Rena never had a viable storyline. Yeah, that's what I have in my notes. What is Rena's storyline at all ever? She showed us a bunch of old dresses that she wore while her daughter was on the phone with her boyfriend. And then she had a conversation with Erika, and that was pretty much it. Like, what is Rena's storyline? But even more than that, what is Dorit's storyline? Like, literally, what is the purpose of Dorit on the show? I mean, this season, I can't tell you one thing that Dorit has contributed. She has a cute one-liner here or there, and like her, to me, and her whole glam to me is getting old at this point. What is Dorit contributing at all to this season? What is going on in her life? Like, she has no storyline. And the thing is, I think off of camera, she has a lot of storylines. Remember how many times they kept moving? That was kind of shady. Remember when she got sued with her Beverly Beach or whatever it was? The investors were that she had a lawsuit against her because of that. Remember when people were saying that her PK owed all this money to all of these people? So there is actual, I'm going to sneeze. Okay, sorry, it went away. Okay, so there is all this actual drama going on behind the scenes, but they're just not showing it on the show, which I think is unfair. Because I want to know, was PK doing shady businesses? Why are they moving every other season? What happened with the lawsuits with Beverly Beach? Like, how come we're not talking about anything going on in Dorit's life with all of these legal issues and everything that's happening? Why is she just showing up in the same regurgitated outfits over and over and over again and not contributing anything to the show? Like, what is her storyline? Like, if you really think about it, what is Dorit's storyline? No idea. I even like Kyle more than I like Dorit right now. I thought Kyle, when she was breaking down and crying about her daughter, I thought that was super legit. And I also like Kathy being a good addition to the show. I really like Kathy being on the show. I like her on it a lot. But yeah, and I saw that Kyle's concerns about her daughter were valid. She was saying, she's like, it's not that I'm worried about her being isolated. I'm worried about her liking it. That the daughter kind of started to like being in isolation and not being around her peers and just sort of more like really just spending time with like her much older sisters. So I thought that, hi, Christina. Let me show this. Is really funny. Christina Miller goes, that's a strong statement, LOL. No one ever likes Kyle. That is so true. That is so true. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's really funny. Hey, Sumaya saying, she goes, hell, I've forgotten about Dorit, right? Like, what does Dorit, like, why does Dorit hold a diamond? I'm super confused. Like, why does Dorit hold a diamond? I'm really confused. And it's not for the fashions and style anymore, because at this point it's played out. Like, it's really played out. And me just wearing a brand's monogram all over your body is not fashion. It's not style. It's not cute. Like showing up in a jumpsuit with just the Louis Vuitton logo, how is that fashion? How is that style? Like, I don't get it. Like, to me, you could go to Target, you could go to H&M, you could pull something together and be way more fashionable and way more stylish than just wearing logos from head to toe. That doesn't make you fashion or stylish. That's probably just saying that you're going into debt, pretending, or maybe they're knockoffs. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think that just wearing logos from head to toe makes you a style icon. Because truly wealthy and truly stylish people don't show logos. Like, even like if someone's really, really wealthy and they might be wearing the Dior and the Chanel and the Fendi and all of these things, you know, all of these like, big brands, but they do it in such a subtle, tasteful way. Like, look at Kathy Hilton, right? Her bank account does multiple laps around Dorit. Multiple laps around Dorit, her bank account does. And if you just saw her, she doesn't have any visible logos, but she could buy Dorit's life 10 times, right? So it's really that statement, like wealth whispers and like whatever the thing is, like fake rich screams. But that's what it is to me. So like I'm kind of like over Dorit's fashion because I don't think it's really that fashionable. And like her hairstyle is just kind of just appropriating Black hairstyles. So I'm just like, unless you're going to pay homage to the culture that you're taking the hairstyles from, which I have no problem with. I don't care what color you are. You can wear any hairstyle you want. I don't really care, as long as you don't pretend like this is like your new idea and like you're the one who's bringing this like high street fashion hairstyles to this new place. It's like, no, girls have been wearing hair pieces, wigs, extensions, up and down, you know, big things all the way, like forever. You go down, you know what I mean? Like, hello. So I don't care what race you are. You can wear your hair in a way you want to. Just don't pretend like it's your new idea or you're some like fashion forward person. When you could go right down to Compton or you go right down to Baldwin Hills, you can go, you know what I mean, and find plenty of beautiful Black and brown women sporting hairstyles like that since literally forever. So that's what the problem I have with it. I don't care what color you are, wear whatever you want. Just don't front like you're some like genius who thought about hair extensions, because you're not Dorit and Erika, because they both do it. So well, that's what I feel about that. Okay, who else have we not talked to? Sutton and Crystal. Okay, so what are you guys thinking about Sutton and Crystal? I'm still team Sutton. I know she can be a bit wacky, but I really like Sutton, and I'm still team Sutton. And I think Crystal could have given her some grace. This whole violated comment. Like, nobody violated you, Crystal. The situation wasn't that deep. It really wasn't that serious. And I think Sutton continues to have this visceral reaction because we do live in cancel culture and we do live in a very more aware and a more sensitive, and I don't mean sensitive in a bad way, I just mean more aware, more sensitive to those types of trigger words and buzzwords. And saying that you are naked in a room and your coworker violated you is a very, very heavy thing to say. And that can have bigger implications than just a girl fight. You know, saying you're naked in a room and your coworker violated you could really do damage to somebody's reputation, family, and livelihood, especially in 2021. So the fact that Crystal is pretending to lack any type of understanding or awareness of the gravity of her words, to me, just makes me really not like Crystal. Because you would have been proven right if you had actually just some grace and said, you know what? I can admit that in that moment, I felt violated. However, I know that it was not Sutton's intention to violate me. And for that, I can take the word back, right? Like, that is how a grown person would handle it. But Crystal just being very mean and being like, I used the word and I used the word correctly. And what's wrong with you? You're this very weird, awkward person. Like, to me, I was just like, Crystal, girl, bye. Like, it's not that deep. It's not that serious. And I think Sutton has a lot going on. And honestly, I would be really bothered too. I don't know if I would be at the level that Sutton is at. Oh, hey, Vanessa. Thank you so much. Hey, Vanessa, show a shout out to the call out on the reappropriating. Thank you. Yes, they do. They do. They reappropriate all the time. And it's like, you can look cute, you can look fly, but don't pretend like you're not knocking off another culture, because you are. You didn't create lace fronts. You didn't create box braids. Like, you didn't do it, Dorit and Erika. Like, you're not. I'm super confused. But back to Crystal and Sutton. It's like, Crystal, you can still honor what your experience was, and you can still honor the way you felt. But you can also have some level of awareness that the word violate is not the actual appropriate word for this particular situation. And I get Sutton kind of reacts wacky, and I think that Crystal really knows how to push Sutton button, but I think that Sutton is right to feel this way. Because if you go back and watch the footage, I don't really think Sutton did that much wrong. I would have waited to heard someone say, come in. But Sutton was just kind of, like, oh, I'm going to be a good girlfriend. And, we're going to get back on track. I'm going to take the coat down. She did knock on it. She was like, she knocked on it. She didn't hear anything. So she kind of peered in and was like, oh, okay, what are you doing? And she kind of dropped the jacket or the coat, whatever it was. And then she kind of like teetered out. None of that was violating. And then Crystal also has to admit that she lied. She said multiple times that Sutton never knocked on the door when clearly she did. Clearly she did. And I think Crystal knows she knocked on the door. It just follows more into her narrative as this victim of Sutton that she didn't knock on the door, but she did. And I just think and it sucks because I think there's a lot of really great qualities about Crystal. Like, I kind of like her overall. But the fact that she's being this, and this sticky and this just, sticking it to Sutton so much just makes me not, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And also, benefit of the doubt. Let's say that the girls really do think that Sutton is actually really going through something, right? Maybe her wacky behavior, her kind of ups and downs and outburst is really indicative of a bigger problem, right? Let's just say that's going on just for as a circumstantial situation, right? I'm not saying that is true, but it's just circumstantial. Wouldn't you then even more so want to show grace to someone? Like, if you really think, Crystal, that Sutton is manic, that Sutton is going through something, that Sutton is all of these things, wouldn't you want to show her even more grace and be like, you know what, maybe she did something that I thought was kind of weird, that I didn't really like, but you know what, she's going through something, there's something else going on, maybe right now everything isn't firing correctly or clicking right. Let me just go ahead and give this woman some grace. Because Sutton had zero ill intention. She actually had good intention, because if you watch the footage, right before she went down there, she said, I'm going to be a friend, because they had their beefs. Sutton was actually trying to extend the olive branch by saying, I'll take her coat, I'll be a friend, I'll go do it. Sutton actually had really, really genuine and good intentions, right? We all know Sutton did not have any ill will whatsoever. So if you know someone didn't have ill will, if you really think that they're manic, if you really think they're going through all this stuff, why not show them a little bit of grace? If you think someone is struggling, why do you have to continue to look in their face and be like, I said violate and I used it correctly? Like, what, Crystal? And then Crystal wants people to show her grace when she cries about random stuff and when things happen to her. It's just like, if you want grace, you have to show grace. So I'm team Sutton. And did you guys see how awkward Rinna was when she met Sutton's daughter? What's her name? Paige? No, Porter. That was really awkward. That was really, really awkward. Let me see what I'm saying. Why you bother? It says hit the like button on my way in 100%. Yes, that's right. Hit that like button. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. Yes, yes, yes. Hit that like button. Let's see what you guys are saying. Hey, Delicia. She says, hey, Candy Cane. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying up here in the chat box. Miss Lisa Sutton didn't need to return the jacket to Crystal. Was it going to get lost in the rental? It is the rental house. Yeah, but I think she was just trying to extend an olive branch, right? I think that she was just trying to just trying to be nice. I don't think she thought anybody was gonna steal it. Yeah. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yes, 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 yes. Let's see here. Yes. Okay, so thank you guys for letting me know that person no longer will be able to comment. So thank you, my beautiful candy canes, for letting me know. Hey, Anicia Pringle. She says, I'm late, but I'm here. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, you guys. Okay. Let's see. Hi, DGF627. He says, Erika's handle is a ripoff of Princess Potage's Vanity self-pin song, Pretty Mess, from her 1984 album, Wild Animal. Hashtag cultural appropriation indeed. Yes. Oh, maybe it's from his 1994 Animal. She culturally appropriates, and she also, well, I guess it's also the culture, right, of like LGBTQIA. Like, that's a culture too, right? So she appropriates both. You know what I mean? To me, she appropriates both cultures, Black culture and LGBTQIA culture as well. So it's crazy. Hey, Sasha T, I need mods. I know I need mods. I thought since today we were only talking about Real Housewives, everyone would be cool. But apparently not. But you know what? That's okay. That person has been blocked, and we are going to get back to the love and the light and the kiki of the candy shop. So thank you guys so much for being in here. If you are having some fun, like, subscribe, and comment below. Ooh, gorgeous nature. Your skin is popping. She says, hey, candy girl. Hey, hey, beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, hey, Mocha Deluxe. Mocha Deluxe says, Crystal desperately wants to be that girl, but it's coming off like a mean girl. Exactly. She's too try hard. She's way too try hard, which is weird because she hangs out with Kathy Hilton, and Kathy Hilton to me is just like such a fun, wacky sweetheart, you know. She's kind of like la la la, but she doesn't really come after people. Although I will say I didn't like that Kathy kept calling Sutton Thomasina. Like, we get it. Crystal is your friend, but like you said it once, okay, but then you said it again and again, and then that's what really got under Sutton's skin. So I thought Kathy could have kind of reined that in, and no one's ever going to check Kathy. No one. So Sutton's not going to say anything to Kathy. She'll go off on Crystal, but I promise you, none of these women will ever check Kathy Hilton. That's just a big no-no. But I do kind of want Kathy to stop calling her Thomasina. Like, just let it die. You know, like, just let it go. Joanne says, yes, Mocha. Yes, 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 yes. Let's see here. DGF67, Denise Matthews is Vanity's real name. Google her. Ooh. Yes, 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 yes. Kathy runs the girls. Miss T, they seem scared of her. Yes, Kathy runs the girls down. Nobody is going after Kathy Hilton. Nobody. Me included. I don't want to go after her either because she's so connected. I don't want she's so rich. So, like, trust me, that is no shade to the girls. That is no shade. She runs the girls down. She definitely does. Oh, is there a call-in? Yeah. Thank you, Natalia. Let me put up the call-in link. Okay, so you guys can call in. And we haven't even gotten to New York yet. We might have to do New York tomorrow. Let me know what you guys want. Do you want me to go into New York? Or should we save New York for tomorrow? Okay, I dropped the call-in link. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Rick Brown says, love your perspective. No, for real. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Natalia says yes tomorrow. Okay, so we'll do New York tomorrow because I got to me some thoughts on New York. Yeah, a lot of thoughts, especially when it comes to Brashawn and especially when it comes to Leah and some of the other girls. So we will get into it tomorrow. Okay, you guys are saying tomorrow. Okay, we'll do it tomorrow. Hey, Natalia, do you want to share, sweetheart? Natalia, do you want to share?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, so I first want to start with the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Okay.
Like, they haven't started filming, right? Hello?
Oh, no, they haven't started filming yet. They were supposed to start filming in May, but they haven't started filming yet because they're still trying to find new girls to join.
Yeah, and like I feel like they should bring Claudia back to the show in what's her name? Phaedra.
Mm-hmm. Well, they won't bring Phaedra back, right? Because she had posted some really offensive homophobic tweets after
Oh,
Little Nas X did his I think he kissed a guy
Montero
during
song.
SNL or
Yeah,
something like that. So once she did those
yeah.
tweets, she was out. So they can't bring Phaedra back anymore. Yeah.
And Beverly Hills, like, and can you hear me? Okay, Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
Erika, I don't know if she's lying or not because the mascara that that one was too much for me. Is she lying? Is she not?
You mean
I'm not
Erika?
sure. And like, yeah, Erika.
Okay.
And like about Lisa Rinna, I feel like she's not a good friend because why would you ask somebody that like on national TV? How do you like hide money? And
Yeah.
they and these mean girls are scared of Erika because they see her as a dangerous person. She's capable of doing anything, and the mean girls are not gonna say anything. So yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. They're not going to say anything because they're scared of her. Like they've always been teasing this conversation that it hasn't happened yet, right? With like Sutton and Erika, where she's like sort of like pushing for the truth, and Erika does her whole like, "What are you gonna do about it?" You know, like, and all the girls are like, "Oh my god!" So yeah, nobody wants to come for Erika because Erika's like really scary and like kind of tries to shut everyone down. But I wonder how they're standing now. Do you know what I mean? Like, given everything that's gone down, how are they going to defend her? Like, are they going to stand by her? Are they going to distance themselves? Is Bravo going to fire her? Like, what's going to happen?
And like, what did Dorit do this season?
Not a damn thing.
I think she should be fired. I think she should be fired because, like, oh my god.
I think she
And
should
like,
be
she
fired.
was, yeah, she should. And like, I feel like the only people who are not scared of Erika is Garcelle and Sutton. That's why they're just. I'm not sure. Maybe I think maybe Garcelle wants to believe her, but she's not sure if she can. She doesn't know what to believe.
Yeah, I think Garcelle has like common sense. So I think just like the logical part of her is just like, yeah, Erika knew, and this is all a big scam and a big sham going on. But I also think that she wants to give her the benefit of the doubt. But sometimes when things are just so obvious, it's even hard to fake the funk. Where it's kind of, it's hard to be like, oh, maybe she didn't know when it's like so obvious that she did, allegedly, in my opinion.
And like with Crystal and Sutton, like I feel like these two are like those type of people like in life where their energy just don't mesh up. No matter how hard you try, it's just gonna be oil and water. But like Crystal, I don't know, maybe she's going through something and she's attacking like Sutton. But I feel like they are both attacking each other. Yeah.
they're both attacking each other. But I think what it is, I think Sutton actually really wanted to be friends and to make amends. And I think Crystal
Yeah.
low-key is actually the one who's jealous of Sutton. Because if you think about it,
Yes.
like with Crystal's admitted insecurities, like she has talked about her eating disorder, she talks about wanting really
Mm-hmm.
skinny legs, she's talked about growing
Yeah.
up as the child of an immigrant and how all she really, and she's Asian, so all she really wanted to do was assimilate into
Mm-hmm.
Western white culture.
What?
She wanted blonde
Mm-hmm.
hair, she wanted blue eyes, she wanted a lot of wealth and all of these things, right? And then in walks
Yeah.
Sutton, who is like this blue-eyed, blonde-haired, super thin, used to be a ballerina, uber rich
Mm-hmm.
Southern belle. So Sutton literally embodies everything that the insecurities in Crystal wanted to be. And I think that
Yeah.
is what triggers Crystal so much. And I think that's why Crystal keeps going at Sutton, because a part of
Mm-hmm.
Crystal wants to be Sutton, as bizarre as that may feel. But that's what I truly, truly think. Because sure, Sutton's a bit wacky, but I think she's sweet. I think I
Yeah.
love the friendship she has with Garcelle. I love that friendship.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't think Sutton's a bad person, but the way Crystal
Yeah.
just keeps knocking at her and knocking at her. And then I also think she was projecting a lot. Remember the last episode where she yelled at Sutton, she's like, what are you, jealous? Crystal said that of Sutton. And I feel like when people say that in those particular circumstances, it's because they're actually jealous of you, or they're jealous of that person, and they're projecting how they feel onto the other person. That's why Sutton was
Yeah.
bewildered. She was like, jealous of what? Your ugly leather
Yeah.
pants or
Rubber
whatever.
pants.
Because Sutton is not jealous of Crystal. Sutton is just
Mm-hmm.
like, girl, leave me alone. I'm trying to connect with you. I tell you that my father took his own life. And then you turn around and tell me and anyone who listened that I'm manic and I'm awkward and I'm weird and I'm up and down. That is a really nasty thing to do to someone who opens up to you on that level. Because when someone says that someone's taking their own life, more likely than not, it's because that person had mental health issues, maybe depression, maybe anxiety, maybe bipolar, maybe being manic, having the ups and downs. So for her to say to confide in Crystal and be like, I was really close to my father and he took his own life. And then for Crystal to turn around and throw all of those triggering words in her face about her to me was very, very dirty and very, very wrong. You just don't do that to someone. And Crystal is a smart enough woman to know exactly what she was doing. She knew exactly what she was saying, and she knew exactly what you were doing. If you basically tell someone that, like, maybe mental health runs in your family, maybe depression runs in your family, your father took his own life, and then that person throws in your face, oh, well, you're manic, you're up and down, you're this and that, you're crazy, you're unbalanced, you're unstable, all in your face, that is really messed up and very, very intentional. Very intentional. Because we know that when you say that to someone, you know what the underlying implications are. Crystal knew exactly what she was saying. And I really think it's rooted in her own self-hate. I think it's internalized racism. Yeah, I think it's internalized racism that Crystal has against herself. I think that's why she binges and she purges. That's why she wants to be really, really thin. I think that's why she married who she married. I think that's why Sutton triggers her. I think she's very, very self-hating. And until she learns to love herself, she will always be triggered by other people that she thinks is better than her because they are white, blonde, blue-eyed, and thin. Because in her mind, that's what she thinks is worthy and valuable. Because she doesn't really think she's worthy and valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard that Teddy is coming back. Hello?
Wait, Teddy is coming back? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm just reading some chats. So tell me about Teddy.
Yeah. I heard that Teddy might be in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I'm not sure. But I don't want her to come back because she was like Kyle Richards like lapdog, and like the whole thing with the Denise Richards, like all the girls ganged up on Denise besides like Garcelle and maybe Sutton just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was the one like implicating, like made her to feel like Denise really said that about her, and then she got fired. And these girls are
Mm-hmm.
just mean girls and followers, yeah. But I'd like Denise to
Yeah.
come back.
I think Denise is coming back. I think she's saying like she's finally ready to face Rinna. I think that's what you guys are saying in the
Mm-hmm.
comments too. The comment just went by, but someone said, I'm sorry I can't shout you out because like, the comment went by really fast. Oh, Miss T said, I heard Denise is coming back to face Rinna. Yes, me too. And I would want that. I mean, I would love for them to
Yes,
go head to head, especially now that Doris has
yes,
Garcelle. And Garcelle, I mean, she had her the last time, but in a different capacity now. So, like, I think
yeah,
that they're going to be able to go head to head. And I want Rinna exposed. Like, let's talk
yeah.
about the husband, Rinna. What's really going on with Harry Hamlin, right? What's going on there? What's going on in your marriage? What's
Mm-hmm.
going on in your life? What's going on with Rinna Beauty? Like, Rinna never talks about her actual life. It's either her
Yes.
kids or she's deflecting about everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Young Rich says, so you think Crystal wants to be a white woman? It's not that simplistic. I don't think Crystal is like, I want to be a white woman. No, I don't think that. I think that it's more of just, we all know racism exists in our country. And I think it's just internalized
Mm-hmm.
racism where every time you turn on, it's changing now, obviously. We're getting so much more inclusivity. We're getting so much more diversity. Thank God, right? But I think for a very long time, the messaging was white is right. You turn on TV, you saw a particular type of person. You looked in the magazines, you saw a particular type of person. You know, it's what you learn. It's what we saw in school with like segregation, how Black people are treated versus white people, immigrants versus non-immigrants, right? We've all seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have some form of internalized racism, even if it's just colorism. And we all have subconscious biases. And this is what Crystal
Yeah.
said herself. She said this herself during her confession. So this isn't just me thinking this. She said this. And I think that is a part of what Sutton, and because I don't think it's personal against Sutton. I don't think that Crystal actually doesn't like Sutton. I think what triggers Crystal is what Sutton represents, right? Does that
Yeah.
make sense? You know, Sutton is the
Totally
Southern
agree.
belle. She's super wealthy. She's blue hair to blue eyes. She's very, very thin. She
Mm-hmm.
represents what we have all subliminally and not subliminally, if I'm saying that subliminally, you know what I mean? Either indirectly
Yeah.
or directly have been taught is what the standard of value and worth and wealth and beauty and sophistication is. We have been
True.
taught that is what it is. So that's why you have women, you know, doing all types of things to their body and self-hating. And I'm not knocking that, please. I'm not knocking that at all. If you want to get a nip or a tuck or a wax or this or that or an extension or a weave or a wig, do you all day long, because trust me, I will too.
True.
But it goes back to the why of it. Are you doing it because you think that you're not good enough without it? Or are you doing it just because you like the way it looks on you, right? You're like, I like my hair like this. I like, you know, this. I like that. That's fine. It's not about what
Yeah.
you do. It's always about why you do it. And I think that
True.
Crystal really needs to work on her own internal value and worth. And that's why she has such
Yeah.
a hard time being wrong and saying sorry and taking things back,
Yeah.
because she's very ego based. And she somehow
Yes.
thinks that if she has to be right, someone else has to be wrong. And that if she somehow
Mm-hmm.
admits that she was wrong, then she's no longer Miss Perfect. And God
Yeah.
forbid, Crystal isn't perfect. And that's all ego. Thank you, Delicia Desmilk, for the super chat. Mwah! Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's right, you guys. If you're in here, if you're liking the conversation, like, subscribe, and share. Da, 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 da. So Jen J says, isn't Kathy Hilton all of those things? Yes. So Kathy Hilton is all of those things, but Kathy Hilton is her friend. So you can, so that to me is also showing, look at Crystal's friend group is a Kathy Hilton, wealthy, blue-eyed, white, blonde-haired person, right? But Kathy Hilton is her friend, and Crystal very, very much caters to Kathy because she wants her approval. She wants her acceptance. So you can be triggered by someone and go after them out of your own jealousy, but you can also be triggered by someone and want to get your own validation through them validating you.
It's true.
I think they do have a genuine friendship, but it's very, very clear that Crystal really gets some form of self-validation from the fact that Kathy Hilton is her friend. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what you guys are saying.
And
in the
I also
comments.
feel.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
And I also feel like, can you hear me? Okay. And I also feel
Yes,
like again, I also feel like Erika, no, I feel like Lisa Rinna is jealous of Denise Richards because I don't know, like Denise had like a very like famous lifestyle. She was like on magazines and Friends, like big deals, had her own show on E, and like claimed that Lisa Rinna claimed that Denise was her friend for 25 years, but I feel like she was always jealous of Denise. And then when that whole allegation came out, she just showed her true colors, who she really is, which side she's on, how she really feels about Denise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, 100%. And when it comes to Lisa Rinna, she's a very deeply, deeply insecure person. And I think that she was jealous of Denise, exactly like you said, because Denise got the life that I think Rinna thought she was supposed to have. She has the money. I don't think that Harry and Rinna have as much money as the other people. She has the acting career, right? She's been a working actress. She's been in movies. She was a Bond girl. She was in What's a Wild Thing. She's still working. And she was also like America's darling, right? Everyone called her Saint Denise for taking in that girl or whatever, right? So Denise was making more money out the gate than Rinna was. And Denise basically was just like, I'm showing up in a t-shirt and jeans, what? And was making way more money, right? So I think that Rinna was really jealous of Denise. And then I think Rinna was jealous of LVP, because LVP also had the life that Rinna wanted. Rinna so desperately wants that uber rich, luxurious life, right? And the reputation and the clout and the influence that LVP had. And I think that is what really was the root of Rinna's jealousy. Hey, gorgeous nature. She goes, exactly, Candy. That white is right concept was programmed in us. Luckily, we're breaking the cycle slowly, but breaking it nonetheless. Exactly. I mean, if we're all going to be serious, we have all been taught either directly or indirectly white is right. Point blank, period. We've all been taught that. What does your hair look like? How do you speak? What clothes do you wear? What is your skin tone? All of those things. Do you have curves? Do you not have curves? Like all of those things, right? We have been taught either directly or indirectly that white is right. And then we internalize it. And then that becomes the root of self-hate. And it is very real and it is very true. But we have to just start talking about it more. We have to be honest about it more and just really learn that, okay, we may have been taught that, but now we are going to learn how to love ourselves, honor ourselves, just try and reprogram ourselves. But we have to be honest. We've all been taught white is right. We all have been. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying in the comment. So Ms. T says Denise was making good money. Yes, she was. Hey, Young Rich, she says, because Denise Richards was a working and well-known actress and Lisa is not. Most of her notable role was Dancing with the Stars. Very, very, very true. Hey, Sumia Singh, she was Kathy once. Kathy Circle for the validation. Exactly. Ms. T says Sutton wears her heart on her sleeve. She really, really does. A Young Rich says, and Denise didn't need them little checks, as Monique would say. That's why she left. Exactly. Yes. GGF627 says, the Harvard Implicit Bias Survey is free to take. It reveals biases, schemas instilled since birth. Exactly. Like these things really have been instilled in us since birth, and it's generational. You learn it from your parents learned it from their parents learned it from their parents. Some parents learned it from their slave masters. Like, it's literally that serious and that deep. And it's true. So yeah. So speaking of that, are we sure we want to do we'll do Real Housewives of New York tomorrow, because we've been on here for an hour and 40 minutes and I have some thoughts on Real House of New York, and tomorrow's Friday, so we can keep it short and keep it cute. Yeah, so let's see what you guys are all saying in the chat box. And if you guys are liking this, be sure to like and subscribe. Yes. And hit that notification bell to catch us live. Yes. Hey, Miss T says Denise definitely needs to come back and face it head on. I agree. I would love for her to come back and face it head on. Definitely.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Just a curious one. Like, Denise and Kyle have the same surname, so are they related in some sort of type? Because you can have the same surname but not be related to the person.
No, I don't think they're related.
Yeah,
no, I don't think they're related at all. I think they just have that. I just think they just happen to have the same last name.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rachel Patchy Derm, hello, girl. Beautiful girl. She goes, also, is Kathy pretending to be ditzy? The hunky-dory moment was whack to me. I do. I think in some moments she is kind of laying it on thick. Like, she is kind of playing this ditzy role. And if you think about it, remember when Paris Hilton came out and said that she pretended to be ditzy and pretended to not pretended to be ditzy and pretended to not know certain things. So I think Kathy does the same thing. I think some things she legitimately just doesn't know, and she is kind of just like wacky and out of touch. But I do think some of the things she's kind of playing up and kind of being like tongue in cheek with. You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree. Hey, To Be Native.
Hi.
Hi. Do you want to share?
Yeah, just about RHOA. And then the only thing I wanted to say about Erika is that I cried when I watched that special, because those people in Indonesia that lost, loved ones and stuff, I think she should give that money back to them. And I don't get this selfish stuff with white privilege. Excuse me, my lighter skinned people, but get it. I mean, I love everybody. I got all of them. I'm related to all of them, so related to all races of people. So
yeah,
I'm not prejudiced, but I just, when they do the white privilege thing, when they do it and they operate in it, it pisses me off.
Yeah. Aw, Tubi.
Enough on her. Now, Miss Porsha, I was on another platform, and this sub made a really good point. Porsha has her degree. She has her credentials. She has her credentials in the ministry. She's an ordained minister. And one of your candy canes said that she's losing her credibility with the Black community. Well, she's losing her credibility as a woman of God as well, because where they do that at?
Exactly.
She
overplayed her hand. She thought she could get away with anything, but they quickly checked that. Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to say.
Yay! Aw, thank you.
You always look pretty, but I just want to tell you how pretty you are.
Oh, thank you so much. I receive it. And I like your lip color.
Oh, thank you. It's called Cherries in the Snow. I don't wear any other color.
Cherries in the Snow. Yes. I love it.
It's my favorite. I've been wearing it for 25 years, and I want to go with some browns and dark tones. And my granddaughter and my daughters all live in different states, so I don't really have anybody to do my makeup, so I got to learn how to do makeup.
Oh, well, you look beautiful either way, and it looks really good on you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome. Oh, and I want to say what you were talking about when it comes to white privilege. So true. So true. Because if anybody else was doing these things, they would have been in the clinker long time ago. And also the fact that Tom has allegedly been running this scam for decades upon decades upon decades clearly shows that he was able to skate by because he was this white alleged top lawyer who allegedly paid for awards, and he paid to be on magazine covers, and he paid for article placements, and of course everyone speaks highly of him because he's giving to their foundations and giving to their campaigns and all of these things. Yeah. So him, fronting as this, rich white lawyer man, he was afforded the luxury to scam all these people for decades upon decades upon decades, which is insane. But it also shows you that there must be other people involved. Because there's no way that this one man and Erika allegedly ran this multi-million-dollar scheme by themselves. Yeah. Like, there must be more people involved in this. I just don't think it's just the two of them. Like, it must be like other lawyers, other people that are in his pocket and things like that. And then it also brings
a mob. It's some kind of legal mob or something.
Exactly. And it made me also think about Bill Cosby, which also makes me sick to my stomach. Yeah. But I also think that the reason why he was able to get away with what he allegedly did all of those, I have to say allegedly did all of those years, wasn't so much because obviously he's Black, so it wasn't Black privilege, but it was because he was making white people rich.
Exactly, the money. Follow the money.
His agents were white. His publicists were white. The executives, the directors, all of those people were white. All of the people that he was making, because when you think about it, Bill Cosby was like the big talent, but the people behind the talent are the people who make the majority of the money. It's the directors, it's the executives, it's the agents, it's the writers, it's all of those people on the back end who actually make the bulk of the money.
Exactly.
And so he was making all of them so much money. So it wasn't that he got away with it because he was Black. He got away with it because he made a lot of white people rich.
White privilege made him successful. Yep. So they had his back. White privilege don't have your back if you're making the money.
If you're making the money. Because I promise you, if that was a Cat Williams, who I absolutely love and adore, they would have locked him up and thrown away the key. Yeah. If it was anybody, what I mean? If it was Joe Schmo, you know what I'm saying, on the street, they would have locked him up and throw away the key. So you're absolutely right about that. Absolutely right. Thank you, TB. You can hang out or drop off whatever you want. It's up to you, sweetheart.
I'll let you get him, and then I have something else I want to say.
Okay, yeah, hang out. Okay. Definitely. Hey, Cephas.
Hey, Candy.
Am I saying that correctly?
Absolutely. How's it going?
Yay! Good, it's going well. Do you want to share?
Yeah, I wanted to chime in on the RHOA casting. Okay. So overall, the show has been on the last 13 years, right? And when the show first started out at the beginning of the decade, it was a different structure with a different premise. And the women all were like a nucleus of some sort, and they all had some connection that was outside the show. And since then, the show has evolved. And I guess production has to figure out like what direction do they want to take the next 13 seasons. Because it doesn't seem like the structure of 5 or 7 women is really working, and we see it in the numbers from the most recent season that something needs to change. And it seems like production is scrambling in terms of finding women to cast, which seems kind of strange because if you think about it this way, like there's no athletes' wives that they can reach out to. There's no celebrities, it's and And if they bring on, like, let's say one woman, they need to bring on like maybe like a group, like maybe like 2 or 3 women or even 4 who are all friends outside the show, because that way when issues arise and when they go on cast trips, et cetera, they have a deeper connection. Because at the moment, the women who are on like season 13, they were all just coworkers. As Kenya had mentioned during the reunion, she was like, "Oh, I don't mess with Porsha. She's just a coworker, right?" So they're not friends. Yep. And I think the reason why, like, let's say Potomac has been working really well is because you still have that core group of women. Like, there's still like 4 women from the main cast who are in season 6, and those 4 women, in some configuration, know each other well outside the show. So they need to get back to that aspect, that organicness. Otherwise they could just copy and paste woman after woman after woman after woman for season upon season upon season, and it's just not going to work. So they have to figure out, like, what are they really trying to say. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with you 100%. I think that the problem is exactly what you said. The women are no longer actually friends, and they look at it as I have to go in and shoot a scene, rather than they're actually going in to share an experience with their friends that just happens to be caught on tape. So I agree with that 100%. I definitely think that 5 girls is not enough. It has to be, I think, at least 7, and then with some strong 1 to 2 friends of, I think, is like that best sweet spot. And I also think the reason that I think the production is having such a problem casting people is because their perspective is off. I think that the reason why season 13 was such a big bust was because they thought Drew and LaToya had some sort of audience that they could bring in. They thought like LaToya was young and on YouTube. They thought Drew was like a younger actress and maybe she had some audience to bring in. So to me, I think that their perspective and objective was off. So instead of actually scouting for talent, who's actually interesting, who actually fits the mold of what it means to be a real housewife, right? They, instead of having that perspective, they were thinking, well, who's young and can bring in viewers? But I think that they need to get back to the core of who's interesting, who can hold who actually has like a powerful group of girlfriends, who is actually like, who checks the boxes of what a real housewife is supposed to be. Like, we didn't know who Nene was before she came on the show. Nene was a success because she was talented and she was interesting and captivating, right? She wasn't a success because she had a built-in audience. So I think that that's why production is scrambling, and that's why they did such a poor job last season, and why they're still struggling is because they need to get back to actual producing, which is actually going out and scouting for the real talent. Who are the real wives of? Who are the real ladies of leisures? Who are the real people out there that are entertaining and we want to watch, versus who has a million YouTube followers or who has been in, C&D movies. No shade to Drew at all. I think any job you can get as an actor that pays you is great. So I don't say that to shade her. I'm just saying maybe what they were thinking, right? So I think if they get back to the basics and they roll their sleeves up and they do their job as production, which is to actually scout talent, then they could find a crop of women who would be entertaining. So let the platform make them famous rather than trying to get famous people onto the platform.
Right. And also the 5 women, sure. Like back in season 1 and 2, there were only 5 women on the show, and it was a very huge success. But I think the difference also is that back then it was only like, let's say 10 to 14 episodes with a reunion at the end. Versus now they're trying to take that same 5-woman structure and spread it out across 23 episodes. So, and with a cast of 5 women, that's not dynamic enough for 23 episodes. So I think that's part of the reason. Also, it seems as though production is trying to play catch up with social media and like what's happening online, because we currently are seeing Simon and Porsha's situation playing out in real time, and yet production isn't there to capture it. Or back at the beginning of season 13, the Bolo situation had already spread on social media. So by the time we see it on the TV, we already know what the plot is. We already, like, it's not really a surprise to us anymore. So maybe as they're scouting, like, they need to maybe write in their contract like no social media clause, or maybe like a limited social media. Those are just my thoughts.
Yeah. No, I think that's good, because it's like their PR people are no longer controlling what news leaks out. Like, now we're going to like Love B. Scott, we're going to Kempire, we're going to Up and Adam, we're going to all these other people who are great, who are breaking all the news. You know, Layla is another great YouTuber as well. So like all the people on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube is breaking the stories in the news even before production even knows. And I think that's kind of why there's this disconnect between what we expect of the show versus what they're delivering on the show. Right. And I think that's why it's been falling so flat, and like the ratings have gone down, because it's almost like, well, I already know my opinion. I already know what happened. Why do I need to tune in to see a chopped up version of it? And I also think you're right. I think the reason why maybe lesser women worked before was because they were actual friends and it was cohesive. We're now, especially last season, it was so choppy. It was just like a bit taken from here, a bit taken from here, a bit taken from here. It wasn't cohesive at all. So I definitely agree with you. I want to read this comment real quick. So Coffee Hooked TV says, I'm not sure if it's showing up. I hope it does. She goes, wait, what? Privilege and money don't excuse his horrible choices, ... Nah. Okay, so Coffee Hook TV, what we were saying, and I believe she's referring to Bill Cosby, what we were saying was that he was able to get away with his bad behavior for so long because of his privilege and money. And then he was able to even get out of his prison sentence early because of his privilege and money. We weren't excusing his behavior. We were saying he was able to get away with his behavior because of privilege and money. So in case that wasn't clear, I just want to make sure everyone understood that. So thank you, Coffee Hook TV, for speaking up. We are by no means, and I mean that with every fiber of my being, condoning what that man did to anyone. What we are talking about is the reason why he was able to do it to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 plus women over his multi-decade long career is because he was protected, because he had privilege, and because he had money, and because he was making privileged people a lot of money. So we are by no means excusing his behavior. We're just saying why he got away with it. So I hope that cleared it up. 2B, you said you had something else to share?
Yeah, I'm typing something to Coffee Hook TV, but I did want to say, like, I'll just say it, but I'll still type it. I'll just say it. He got off because the prosecutor lied, because those records were supposed to be sealed. They unsealed the records. Another group of prosecutors came and they opened the records that should have never been reopened.
He got off with a loop, a technicality loop.
Yeah, because he had given the girl the $3.5 million with the understanding that he said, yeah, I gave him the damn Quaaludes, you know, and that's what we were doing back in the 60s and 70s. I was giving girls Quaaludes because I wanted to have sex with them. He admitted to doing it. They put it away in a file. And so, you know, all this about Cosby being innocent, I don't know about all that, because he admitted to giving girls Quaaludes back then. But the what do you call it? Statutes of limitations ran out on that. But then when whatever happened between him and the Constant girl, her mother, it's a backstory to all of this. My girlfriend, she has a YouTube channel, and she has all the tea on the behind the scenes on this stuff.
Yeah,
and what really happened was Constance's mother was mad at some black basketball player.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to acknowledge this super chat real quick. Thank you so much, Daytime Tea. I hope it's showing up. I know StreamYard's being a little finicky, but I hope it shows up. But she says, I tweeted Andy to ask where is any footage showing Erika shocked or appalled by Tom's transgressions. Yeah, but I don't think it exists. Because I don't think Erika is shocked or appalled. I think she was a very willing participant. And her fake tears and her scripted monologue and PR key messaging just proves it. And the fact that now she's trying to say he was degrading in front of her, but then she did that like fake cheating scandal, it doesn't match up. It just doesn't make any sense. So thank you, Daytime Tea, for the super chat and for saying that. And thank you to B for letting us know that he got off on the technicality. Someone else in the chat is saying that, well, he paid the woman $3.5 million, which is insane. Okay, Diggy, do you want to share?
You guys were talking about like what Real Housewives of Atlanta is missing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they need to go back to the basics. Like I think when Carlos King was the executive producer for it, they included more of the husbands because this is a housewife show. You know, you have a husband, you should be married to someone. Like when Peter and Apollo was there, like it was more interesting and stuff going on. Even with Nene and Greg, like I think one of my favorite scenes was the pillow talk. All the men was there, all the wives was there.
Oh yeah. Oh, Diggy, go. Diggy, I think you dropped out. Diggy?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, okay, go on, continue.
So like my favorite episode of Housewives of Atlanta was the pillow talk when they had the women and all the men there, and you know Peter was there, like everyone had a husband, and when they started casting people that didn't have husbands, like Kenya, you know, other people, I think that made the show more watered down. You had Apollo, you had Greg, you had Peter, you had all of them. And it's like now it was one season that Candy was the only one that was married. And that like after that, it started going downhill. And I think that's one thing that they need to do is get back to getting or casting women that are married on the show.
I agree with you 100%. And that's also what Love B. Scott said in his article. He was saying how the producers are actually looking for women with husbands or a significant other. I hope it's husbands, though, or like they're engaged and they'll get married on the show or something like that, because that's a part of the aspirational lifestyle, having that, coveted marriage and relationship and being kept and all of those things like that, like fantasy of that world, I think is a part of it, right? That's a part of being like this like housewife where you come home and you're like, honey, I'm home. And he's like, well, here's the credit card, baby. It's a part of it. So I definitely agree with that. And Anthony Lester, thank you so much for the super chat. I hope it's showing up. But he says, would love to see you do a collaboration on this topic with the lead attorney. So I've seen a lead attorney around, and I'll definitely reach out if he wants to do a collaboration. I would be more than open to. So that's a really good suggestion. And thank you so much for the super chat, Anthony. And Diggy, I agree with you 100%. They need to get back to basics. It needs to be more opulence, less struggle bus, and it needs to be wives with like the men, and then incorporating the husbands, because that's actually a really good point. Because if you think about it, I think that's why New Jersey does so well, because they all have a counterpart. Teresa had Joe, and now she has that guy that she's seeing. Melissa had her Joe. Dolores has Frank Catania. All of the women pretty much on New Jersey, they have a male counterpart, whether it is the ex or the husband or the boyfriend or whatever it is. And then they all get together and they all are able to be almost like the house husbands. And it's almost like a show within a show with them. So I think you're exactly right. We really do need to get back to that 100%.
Also, we're showing like the glamorous lifestyles too. That's one thing that they stopped doing. Yeah. Like, I wanted to see you go into the store buying expensive stuff, buying, nice cars or whatever. Like, you don't see that no more. And even Potomac was doing that too. Like, you get rid. Well, we're not talking about Potomac now, but they just need to show more glamorous lifestyles. Through all the women. Like, stop. Like, the producers need to stop downplaying women, because I mean, like, all of the women can just go back to like they used to. I watch old episodes before I try to watch a new episode. They just need to go back to the basics. That's all.
100%. I want you to know you're getting so much support in the chat. Everyone's saying that they agree with you. We need couples like Married to Medicine, like RHOA, like New Jersey. 100%. 100%. I agree with you. We need to get back to the basics, back to actual authentic friendships, back to actual aspirational wealth levels, and back to actual couples. It should be these almost like power couple situations going on. Well, not necessarily power couples, because when I think of power couple, I think that both the man and the woman work high-powered jobs. But I guess more like just like committed relationships, if that makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. And everybody in the chat is agreeing with you as well. So thank you so much for that, Diggy. Thanks for joining. Do you have any more insights?
No, that's it. I watch you all the time, and I just like, I never tried to go on. So I'm like, let me just go on one time and give my 2 cents or whatever. But I appreciate you having me up here. Thank you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you so much for calling in, and call in more. Call in anytime. I appreciate it.
Okay, definitely. Have a good one.
You too. Oh yeah. So Shrinking Sharon says yes, couple goals. Exactly. Yeah, definitely couple goals. And let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. DGF627 is saying the Married to Medicine and Real House of New Jersey husbands should have a joint special. That would be really funny, actually. And then maybe throw in Real Housewives of Potomac. Maybe they have like a spinoff. Sunshine T says, Candy, do you watch Love and Marriage Huntsville? Yes, I definitely watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, and I will definitely be doing a recap. I think it comes back on Sunday, right? The 17th. So we will be doing definitely a recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And then Darren Hood says, I'm missing husbands, honestly, on RHOA. Me too. I miss the husbands. Like, that's what we're missing. We're missing the real housewives. Like, we need to get back to the core of the show, and hopefully production can do it. And yeah, I still think that they were being kind of shady when they're like, if production had their way, they would have 5 new girls. So there's only 2 of the current 5 that they actually want to keep, because I think they want a total of 7 girls. So you guys, we have been on here for over 2 hours. Yes. Do not forget to like and subscribe and to comment below. We're going to wrap it up in a little bit. And like we said, and if you guys are catching the replay, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can join us live next time. And yeah, don't forget that we are going to do the Real Housewives of New York. We will do that tomorrow. That can be our kind of Friday happy hour time. So we'll come on, we'll do the Real Housewives of New York tomorrow. That should be maybe a little shorter, but still fun and everything. So yeah, 2B or Cephas, do you have any last thoughts or words you want to share with everyone? Oh, Miss T, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, so actually what we need is just real. Exactly. Yes. Oh, you guys are good? All right. Well, we are going to wrap this up. Thank you so much to everyone who called in. Thank you to Be Black Native. Thank you, Cephas. Thank you, Diggy. Thank you, Natalia. And of course, thank you everyone who sent me in a super chat and shared some love. Thank you everyone who is just watching and liking and subscribing or just enjoying the content. I love you, my beautiful candy cans. Thank you for joining me. Absolutely. And we will be back tomorrow for some Real Housewives happy hour. It'll be fun.
Can't wait.
And until next time, you guys, I love you. Be well. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.
Right,
and I love you guys. Yes, and I will. I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Mwah. Bye, my beautiful candy canes. I love you.